Hey, all you TPO pixels. We are back with another episode. So glad you're here. I'm here with my Huzz dog. The Huzz dog. Haven't done that one yet. How are you, Brad?
I'm good, man. You know, that's funny you say that because...
Welcome to Two Pixels Off, a podcast for creative entrepreneurs.
So my last name is Hussey, but the last name comes from the east coast of Canada in a place called Newfoundland. And those people generally come from Ireland hundreds of years ago. And anyway, that last name, the way they pronounce it in Newfoundland is not Hussey. It's Hussey.
Yeah.
Without the H,
you
two
told me
C's
this.
or two Z's. Yeah. So when you said Huzz dog, it's like, you know what? Huzz dog, that's pretty accurate.
The Huzz dog. Isn't there a dog? There's a Newfoundland dog, like a Newfie dog of some kind, right?
Yeah, it's the Newfoundland dog. Some people call it the Newfie, the Newfoundlander. It's just this giant bear-looking dog.
Yeah.
And it's so friendly.
Dude, I love dogs like that. You give them a hug and it's like a real hug. What I don't like about dogs like that is the 5-gallon bucket and a shovel you got to take in the backyard to clean up their doo-doo. That is the thing that I'm not a fan of.
That's the thing. You're right.
That's the thing. We used to have a golden retriever. She passed away a few years ago. She's great. She's 11 and a half years old when she passed away. Anyway, love that dog. Her name was Nala. And in the winter, you know, we just opened the back door and she'd go out we had 3/4 of an acre lot, and she'd go out into the backyard and just do her business. Dude, when spring came, I'm not kidding, I would walk around with a shovel and a 5-gallon bucket and I would fill it multiple times, walking around, shoveling up wet turds from the winter. I hated it.
You're like speaking my language right now because we have a golden retriever.
Her
name is Mabel.
Okay.
Yeah, and she, I built them a really nice dog run because I did do that. I let them run free, but then they destroyed the lawn. So chewed up trees, chewed up the trampoline, dug holes, and I was like, and then like all of the pee and the poo, like it destroyed the lawn. I spent the whole summer trying to get it back to life. So anyway, I built them a really nice dog run. I built them a custom cedar deck so that they can be on the deck, and so I did a really great job for it. And so now all of their bathroom breaks are isolated. I say there because we also have another smaller dog.
This sounds like it, yeah.
And they do it there. But I will go out, I'll leave it like a week, and I'll go with a shovel and literally the 5-gallon sort of like aluminum pail.
Yeah.
I'm shoveling.
Yep, shoveling. And then you're walking around a pail full of poo. It's the worst.
I'm like,
it's the
I'm
worst.
not a farmer. What am I doing? Like, this is like cow turds.
Yeah. All right.
Welcome to Two
What does
Pixels
this have
Off,
to do with
everybody.
running a creative business?
Everything.
Nothing. It has nothing. You know what? I am going to tie it in because there were times when this is true. And I even have this in my first book, Burn Your Portfolio, where I realized that after I started hiring people at my agency, what my job really was, and it was shoveling poo. That's what my job was. I would go into the office. I had to make a mental shift, but I would go into the office and the things that I did all day: deal with a frustrated client because they were frustrated about something that somebody in my company did or whatever, that disappointed in whatever. So it escalated. The poo escalated up to me. I would deal with a frustrated employee because they were frustrated with whatever in the business, whatever, and that would escalate up to me. I felt like my whole day was just navigating poo. And that's the way it is sometimes when you're an agency owner.
And sometimes those clients are golden retrievers. They're real lovely, but they're kind of neurotic and make a mess.
Yeah. Sometimes they're a newfie and you just want to give them a big bear hug. Yeah. And then you look out in the yard and it's just a destroyed pile of poo. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
you can still love them.
It in. Expertly.
You still love them, but that's a lot of poo that you have to navigate. Yeah. All right. Well, this was fun. Hopefully you're still listening to the podcast after our intro today. We're excited to be with you again on this episode. And as we always do, we give a little shout out to Wix Studio for making this podcast possible. They connected Brad and I a few years ago through his community, Creative Crew Community, which is just an awesome free community that is for mostly web designers, but it's not exclusive to that. Most of the people in there do a wide variety of creative services. They have tons of resources that can help your creative business, and it's free. So check out creativecrewcommunity.com. Brad does live sessions in there. I do some live group coaching in that. And like I said, it's free. And they have awesome guests. Brad, who are some of the guests you've had that give exclusive content to your community?
Yeah. Oh man, we've had some really cool guests. So, and they're all great. Like, I don't want to say favorites as if this one's my favorite or this one's not, but we've had some notable guests that I was very happy to get on. In addition to like the everyday entrepreneur who's doing really well. Yeah. And in my opinion, those are my favorite because
I love those people.
That's a normal guy, normal gal, and she's doing really well, or he's doing really well. It feels like I can attain that success. Whereas when you hear almost like the celebrity style success, you're like, it's kind of what? How does that make sense?
Yeah.
How do I do that?
That's not applicable to me. That's what some people think. That's not applicable to me because that person is X and they are so much further than what I even want to be. Yeah,
exactly. So we had, Brett Williams from Design Joy. So designjoy.co. He's a one-man, $1 million design agency. He kind of made popular the subscription style design services.
Yeah.
And he's very controversial. At least on Twitter or X, people either love him or hate him. And the thing is he's actually a really delightful gentleman. He's very kind and very kind of soft spoken, and he's a lovely man. But he also likes to stir up the poo, let's say, stir up the pot.
We're going to tie it in the entire episode today.
And so interviewed him. He was great. So he kind of shares some of the secrets behind his business and how you can do that. Now, we also interview some other folks like Hunter Hammonds. Maybe he's not as household of a name, but he owns multiple 7-figure design or product companies, online companies, from Off Menu Design, which is like a high end agency. They charge premium prices and they do really good product and web and brand work, but also other web based businesses. So I interviewed him, talking about how you can kind of set yourself apart. And build successful businesses. To like the everyday agency owner, I interviewed Marshall Fox. He's got a great YouTube channel. He does great stuff on Instagram, but he went from a door-to-door salesman to selling $20,000 Wix websites. And this is Wix Classic, not even Wix Studio. I think he does use Wix Studio now, but it goes on and on. We have 70 hours at this point, maybe even 73 at this point, of interviews from some of the kind of, leaders in the industry to like the everyday success story. And they all have something really cool to share. So we do those every month, and it's like, it's so fun to get to do that.
I love that. You know what? When I go into those sessions, so some people may say, like the subscription model that you mentioned, and that did become a flash in the pan, really hot topic a year and a half ago or something. And it was because of him. He started getting on other people's content, and people became aware of this process. And it was marketed as like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I had multiple people come in my community, More Creative Academy, come and say, I think I'm going to switch to this model. And I was always like, hey, be careful. If it's not, there are a lot of different models for a creative business. And that's one of them. Is it the right one for you? That's the question. Now, the way that I look at that content in my agency, that model would not have yielded the amount of revenue that my agency did. It would not have done it. We were project-based, fixed bid for most of the stuff that we had. And we were able to pad our projects with a margin for profit. And yes, we had more of a roller coaster of cash flow than he probably does. Blah, blah, blah. There are multiple different models. Now, what I go into those kinds of sessions with is I'm not there to go and retool my entire business because of what somebody's sharing. I go in to find 1, 2, maybe 3 good nuggets that change the way that I think or change the game for me. I look for those things. That's how I read books too, Brad. I'm like, okay, I get a freaking business book, and 80% of every business book is stuff I've probably heard somewhere else. I look for the 20% of juicy nuggets that are off the beaten path, that are unique, or that tweak my brain in some fashion. That's what I look for. And that's what I love. You got 70 hours of content. Go watch some of this content, people. It's free. It's sitting in there, and find those 2 or 3 juicy nuggets that change things. You should be listening to 2 Pixels Off this same way, just so everybody knows. Listen and discount half of what we say, and in the other half, look for a juicy nugget or 2 that can change the trajectory of your business. That's what we try and deliver here.
Yep.
Anyway,
exactly. If you could one thing take away that, like, that's worth your 30 minutes to an hour that you listen in or watch something.
Exactly. It's totally, and put it on the background, man. You can just drop it in the corner of your desktop while you're working and listen to it while you're working. We all have time to do that. A lot of people do that already. Yep. Anyway, big content library. Go to creativecrew.com, creativecrewcommunity.com, and check it out. It's a community built on Circle. It's free. Tons of free content in there, and great group of people too. There's some active people in that discussion board that attend the sessions and stuff. And they're really, I said this to one of them in my last group coaching. I was like, you discovered the hack, because he's always there. I was like, you discovered the hack. The hack is that there's tons of content in here that is super valuable, and access to Brad and access to Mike that can, for answering your questions, and it's there for you, available for free. So anyway, 100%. All right, that is good, long introduction, but hopefully some little thoughts in there. Brad, today we're going to talk about the myth of better software. The myth of better software. That's the message of the day. So let's start by talking about your preferred software. I'm going to just give you a little quiz. Okay. Photo manipulation, what are you using?
Oh, that's a great, okay. Do I get to pick more than one tool?
Yeah. Okay. As long as you make it quick. Okay. This is a brief part of the podcast.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Photoshop.
Okay. Canva for photo manipulation. What do you do in Canva for photo manipulation?
Yeah. So any really hard or heavy or specific stuff, Photoshop all the way, because 100% that's its job.
Yeah.
I'm a Photoshop huge fan. I've been using it literally since like a teenager, playing around with it. So any specific hardcore stuff, Photoshop all the way. It's so great. Canva for when it comes more to graphics that I need to be able to use photos. So I have like a few headshots that I use that are kind of on brand, and I create a lot of graphics. So for Creative Crew, for the YouTube channel, so all of my YouTube channel graphics are Canva. With the exception of if there's a photo heavy one and I need to like do something to my face or a guest's face, then I will use Photoshop. But more and more, Canva's making it easier. Like I can expand using generative AI. I can do really decent color correction. If there's like something blocking my face, like sometimes this microphone covers like the bottom of my chin, I can like mask it out and it will use AI and really fill it back in. I can do skin toning. So if I'm a little bit too red or a little too yellow, I can change it all in Canva. And I know people like to knock on Canva because people find it trendy to knock on beginner tools. But the only beginner thing about it is if you are a beginner. So I'm an expert when it comes to these tools, and I can make Canva do whatever the heck I want. And if I can't, I go to something like Photoshop.
You can't make Canva kern. And that drives me crazy.
No, that's true. That's very true.
You can make it track your letter spacing, but you can't make it kern. As soon as they make it kernable, individual letters kernable, oh man, it's a game changer for me. I feel the same way about Canva, by the way. I signed up for Canva like a year and a half ago because I was trying to have my admin do some thumbnails or whatever. And I was trying to make some templates, and I was like, okay, this is how we can collaborate and make it super easy for her. And I jumped in there. I was blown away at the feature set. inside of Canva. Yeah. So I signed up almost immediately for my $14.99 a month thing, and I pay for it ever since. And most months I don't even open it, and I never ever think of canceling my Canva subscription because I know it's always getting better, and there's stuff in there that is of value, and I'm happy to give them my money because I want to support the company. So that's my mindset on Canva, but I was blown away. So those of you listening, if you're sleeping on Canva, stop. It's not what it was 3 years ago or 4 years ago. It's they came to play. They came to play.
Yeah, they did. They
All
really
right.
did. Yep.
What do you use for vector style? Like you're going to design a logo or something. What do you use, Brad?
Yeah, nice. Okay, so I don't do too much vector stuff, but I really do love Illustrator, obviously. I mean, maybe, yeah, I think it's obvious. Illustrator is the tool for that. But I don't find myself in it very much. So I actually do use Figma a lot for vector related graphics because you can do a lot. It's vector based, and you can actually do a lot of pen tool and shapes, and you can do most of what I need to do. I can do in Figma for vector specific stuff. So I would say probably actually Figma would be my vector tool.
This is really interesting. So, and this is going to be something that we highlight here, but there are a lot of logo designers in the world that would say designing vector stuff in Figma is the most idiotic thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, and they'll snoot their nose at you and look down upon you for that. But after this episode, you're not going to think that way anymore. Okay, I like that answer. What about making a carousel for Instagram or any other platform? What are you going to use to make a carousel, Bradley?
I am going to use Canva or Figma.
Okay. Fancy boy. That's what we call Brad in the back room.
Fancy boy.
He's a fancy boy. Okay.
Fancy boy.
You know what I use? I experimented with using Keynote at one point. I was making them in Photoshop at one point. I started making my carousels in Adobe InDesign. I can do multi-page thing. I can set them up to be 10 slides, all wide and 10 different pages, and overlap my backgrounds and stuff. And the reason, and we're going to get to the heart of this today, the reason is because I freaking know InDesign so well. Yeah. For multi-page documents, InDesign. Now, other people would say Keynote. I think Chris Do makes his in Keynote, or he used to, or highlighted Keynote. This is how you do it in Keynote. And so lots of people started making it in Keynote because Chris said that. But that's not for me. I love Keynote, but that wasn't the platform for me. You make it in Figma. I know other people that are web-centric people that know Figma really well, and they make theirs in Figma. I know other people that do that. I don't know a lot that make it in Adobe InDesign, so I'm kind of an outlier. But I can make a freaking sick carousel in a short amount of time inside of Adobe InDesign because I know the software. That's at the heart of what we're talking about today. The tool you choose does not matter nearly as much as your proficiency in the tool you choose. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
you're right. There's this thing, Brad. It's the old violin. Have you heard this song, The Old Violin? It's like a little poem or song or something, and it's the touch of the master's hand. I think it's a religious Christian based thing. But the idea is that there's this old violin there, and it's at this sale, this garage sale kind of a thing. And the person goes up and it's all beat up and they go and play on it and nobody buys it, nobody buys it, nobody buys it. And then the master violinist comes and he picks it up and he plays and the song is so beautiful. And all of a sudden the value of the violin goes up. People are auctioning for it. They're like, I want to buy it. I want to buy it. I want to buy it because they heard the master play the violin. Now, again, I think that the deep root of that is this religious foundation, Christianity or something. Yeah. But the concept holds true inside of what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
There are designers inside of Canva that can out-design designers using the Adobe suite.
Yep.
Because they're the master of design, and the tool does not matter nearly as much as what they bring to the table. They can take the beat up old violin with less features. It's not some fancy wood imported from wherever. It's a beat up old violin made of oak something or other, whatever, and dented and cracked, and they can still make it sing a beautiful song. Now,
right. Yep.
Okay, so you have something you want to say about this, and then we'll transition
here. There's
to
so
this
many
next
things.
thing.
Like, I won't like drive the point home too much because I think it came across, but it's so universal. It's like, it's not the tool. It's not the instrument. It's the player. It's not the tool. It's the master. You know, it's the craftsman using it. Like my, like father-in-law, or probably even like his dad, with a handsaw could do better than I could with a saw stop automated safety mechanism with, or a 3D printer, or like all these cool tech and cool tools. This old gentleman with a handsaw and like a whittling knife could do a better job than this schmuck over here with all the fanciest gear. Now, give that man, assuming that he knows how to use advanced tech tools, show him at least how it works, he would do infinitely a better job with the better, more specific tools, but doesn't need them. It's just like, one more point is in aviation, in airplane flying, like general aviation, there's some really cool airplane technology now for general aviation, like solo flyers, like the Cirrus airplane company. They have a really cool aircraft that has a parachute that shoots out the back, automated safety features, autopilot, Garmin Auto Land. Like basically you like get in it, press a button, it could fly itself. If you were about to crash, you could press the parachute, it'll shoot you up in the sky, and then you're safe. So, but airplane related deaths in those aircraft still happen. Whereas you'll have some like old school stick and rudder military flyers who like only learned with stick and rudder on farm airplanes, and you could put them in any situation and you would feel safer with that guy than the one with the automated tool. Now give that guy like the fancy aircraft with the buttons, he'll fly you to safety, and if something goes crazy, you can press the button. So it's like, it's not the aircraft, it's the pilot. I'd rather be with the expert pilot in the basic aircraft than the novice, overconfident and cocky pilot in the fancy aircraft. So it's the same thing. It's universal with the tools.
Yes. It's touch of the master's hand. That's what it is.
Okay.
All right. Brad, this is going to be a quiz. And for those of you that aren't watching the video version of this episode, you're not going to miss too much, but I'm going to show a couple things on screen to give Brad a little quiz to hit this point a little more home. So right here, I have 3 illustrations that I found on Behance from talented people, and we'll shout out the people that we're showing the work from in a minute. Brad, I have these 3. One of these was done in Photoshop. One of them was done in Affinity Designer, and one of them was done using Procreate. 3 different tools that are fighting for your usage out there. They're marketing, trying to get you to use their tool and not the other ones, these 3. So right here, Brad, we have the first one. This is from A Christmas Carol movie or cartoon. This is like a storybook version of that. And let's see, we got a couple illustrations on here. So this is number 1, Brad.
Okay.
Right here. I'll show you number 2 is this illustration right here. That's a pineapple guy chasing a turtle on a skateboard. Looks like kind of a t-shirt design or something like that with this background of it. So you got a pineapple monster chasing a turtle on a skateboard. And then we have this one, which looks like it's probably a leopard or something. It's all artistically done, a little bit kind of psychedelic coloring and lines that form the face of this leopard with a black, dark background. Now, Brad, which of these do you think was Affinity Designer, Procreate, and Photoshop? Let's see if Brad can tell.
The first one, Procreate.
Okay. I'm going to unveil them as we go, and you'll know what's left, okay? So here's the quiz. By the way, if you fail this quiz, everybody who's listening knows what's going to happen.
It knows the rules.
If Brad fails this quiz, I mean, how many more quizzes can he fail before we actually kick him off the show? This may be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
This might be the one.
Right
this is
here
the one
today.
that offs the 2 pixel.
It's going to be 1 pixel off starting next week.
It's going to be 1 pixel left.
1 pixel.
This week on 1 pixel left.
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to unveil. You said that this was what?
Procreate.
Procreate. Let's see if Brad's right. This one was Procreate. Shut your mouth, Brad. How did you know this?
You want to know how I know this? My wife is a Procreate master, in my opinion. She uses Procreate for digital illustration, and I'm fascinated with it. Look, with the Apple Pen, I even have it in front of me here on my desk, and the layering, like the digital painting that you can do. Like I see that and I go, I don't know how you would do that in like Photoshop easily without using a pen tool. And then why don't just use Procreate? It makes more sense. So that to me looks like a Procreate creation.
Wow, you're good so far. You're still on the podcast. Let's see how you do on this one. We've got this one. It is either Affinity Designer or Photoshop. What do you think?
That's Photoshop.
This is the pineapple, by the way. Pineapple chasing the skateboard turtle.
Yeah, I think that's Photoshop. It's a little more classic, sort of like graphic design. I can almost just see the Photoshop layers. And it's really good, but there's a simplicity there. So that's what I'm thinking.
All right, here we go. The answer is Affinity Designer Sketchbook Pro.
Okay.
So this was Affinity Designer. Okay, it's really great. The sketches, I'm scrolling down on this. By the way, this one is by Rodrigo Santos. So shout out to Rodrigo. He has 533 followers on Behance. He is in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So give him a follow if you're a Behancer. We shout him out right here. And the first one
Sao Paulo.
was by, oh crap, I lost it. Oh, it's right here. Okay. By Jesus Lopez. Jesus Lopez on Behance. He has 6,200 followers, freelancer, and has a lot of views, 109,000 project views, and a lot of other cool work. Jesus Lopez. So give him a shout out on Behance. Okay, that leaves us this, Brad, which is then Photoshop. This is the leopard, everybody looking at it. This is the leopard on the tree. Looks like a leopard, right? I'm pretty sure it's a leopard.
I think so.
Yeah. And this is by Mural Lead Haran T in somewhere in India. I'm gonna sound this out for all of our Indian people listening to the podcast. He is in Thiruvananthapuram, India. I've never heard of this place. Same. And I probably did a mediocre job of saying it, but Mural Lead Haran T, great illustrator. He has a lot of other work that's similar to this. That's really cool.
Cool style.
Really
unique,
cool style.
Very specific,
I love it. I love it.
You could see his signature style there. That's really neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this one's really outstanding. This one's an elephant, and this is very surreal, impressionist-y style artwork. Really great. Good work by all of them. Okay. Now, you did great on that quiz, just so you know. I know you missed one, which means you probably missed two because you would have gotten the other one wrong also. I let you off the hook a little bit. You can stay on the podcast if I'll talk to the audience behind the scenes and make sure that they'll give you another shot.
Yeah.
They're going to give you another shot.
33% is a passing mark here at TPO.
Yeah. 33%. That's what you have.
Yeah.
33% gets you there. Okay. Yes. Brad, we'll transition now to a little conversation about the myth of better software. So we have a couple things in our mind right now. We have the touch of the master's hand. The software doesn't matter as much as the person using the software. We showed 3 examples of Procreate, Affinity Designer, and Photoshop. And to be truthful, all of them could have been used to make any of those pieces of artwork. And all of the artwork that we showed was really great work by those 3 people. So shout out to the people again. Thanks for letting us show your work. Love your work. I'm going to follow those people, by the way, on my Behance after. I got to log in and follow those people. So the myth of better software. Well, I won't ask this as a question, but why don't we go down and talk about some of the reasons that I pulled from the interwebs on why someone should switch from one piece of software to another. Yeah. And we're going to highlight how these businesses competitively sell against each other, because there are pros of each and cons of each. So when you look at an Adobe Photoshop versus Affinity Designer, why should you switch from Adobe products to Affinity products? Well, the Adobe products have this strength, and so they're going to highlight that strength in their marketing. And the Affinity products have a different strength that they're going to highlight in their marketing. Both of them can successfully find an audience by marketing that way. And that's a little marketing thing. But let's talk there to start. Adobe products to Affinity Designer. Why should somebody switch? Number one, okay, this is going to be, you're using Adobe, which Brad does. I'm going to tell you, based on the interweb research, why Brad should switch to Affinity Designer. You ready? Yeah. I'm going to try and use this as the competitive pitch. Brad, the first one-time purchase, no subscription.
Okay.
That's going to save you $59 a month for your subscription, assuming you're only paying for one, which you may be paying for more licenses than that in your organization. Mm-hmm. So one-time purchase, Affinity Designer, without the subscription going. I think that's an interesting model, to be honest. Mm-hmm. It's a dying model in the subscription world that we see. Yeah. We've become conditioned over the last 5 years to pay a subscription fee for every freaking thing that we use. Yep. All right. Would that make you switch, Brad?
No.
Okay.
No, not me.
All right. The next thing, lightning fast performance. Affinity Designer is optimized for speed and efficiency. It handles complex vector graphics, large files, and multitasking more smoothly, often outperforming Adobe Illustrator on less powerful machines. Features like real-time previewing and seamless zooming make the workflow faster and more enjoyable. That's point number 2. That's why you should switch. Now, when I read that one, personally, I think, okay, I'm not going to make the mistake of thinking that the Adobe products are not working to make theirs perform better on machines. Of course they are. Of course they are doing that exact same thing, constantly trying to improve performance for their end user. So I'm going to kind of throw that one out a little bit. Okay. Cross-platform consistency. Affinity Designer is available on Windows, Mac OS, and iPad with no loss of functionality. The iPad version is particularly powerful, offering almost all the desktop features, making it ideal for on-the-go creatives. Adobe's mobile apps, in contrast, are often stripped-down versions of their desktop counterparts. I believe that to be true. I've installed the mobile versions, tinkered with them enough to know that I'm not going to do anything on the mobile versions. I'm just going to go back to my desktop to do that. Do you ever use the mobile versions of the Adobe software, Brad?
I've played with them. And I specifically, like when I did some even more video editing work on our YouTube channel, I was playing with the mobile version of Adobe Premiere. It was like Premiere Express or something like that. And it felt gimmicky. It felt like, like I'm like a new cutie, like TikTok creator, and there's like a cool graphic. And I'm just like, I'm not going to, this isn't what I'm trying to do. And I want to edit. It just didn't make sense. And same with Photoshop. It seemed like someone who, you might as well just use Canva, you know, or, you know, Affinity, you know, and it's easier to do on your phone. So yeah, I felt that it's a gimmicky mobile
I do too. So I think that that's a viable pro to Affinity Design if their mobile versions are the same as their non-mobile versions, their desktop versions. All right, user-friendly interface. Affinity Designer has a streamlined, intuitive UI that many users find cluttered compared to Adobe Illustrator. Oh, find less cluttered. Sorry, they find it to be less cluttered. I missed the word less, and that's probably the most important word in that entire sentence. They find it less cluttered compared to Adobe Illustrator. It simplifies common tasks while still offering the professional tools needed for high-quality design, making it easier to learn and use effectively. That's a solid argument.
Yep.
If you did not grow up on the Adobe software and you were trying to learn all of those freaking tools all in one fell swoop, good luck. I started using the Adobe stuff in the mid-90s, and when there were not buried tools on the palette, you would have, you know, your 5 things you could actually do. And then over time, they just kept adding more and more and more features and burying tools inside of other tools. It became a little crazy. It would be overwhelming at the start to try and learn all of that in one fell swoop. So I think that that's a valid thing. The next one, value-packed features. Affinity Designer boasts a wide range of professional features like unlimited artboards, a seamless workflow between vector and raster in the same document. I like that. Robust tools for precision editing, regular free updates with significant new functionality. All of this comes without locking advanced tools behind higher price tiers, as Adobe sometimes does. I don't know if Adobe does that, to be honest. I feel like once I pay for Creative Cloud, I get the full suite of Creative Cloud of stuff. Or if you pay for just Photoshop, there's not like a higher tier of Photoshop.
It's like you get Photoshop. But it's like if you want to do better illustration work, then you need to pay for the higher tier Creative Cloud subscription so you have access to Illustrator. And at that point, you might as well just do the full suite with all of the tools because you're starting to get closer to the, so that's the only way I see you pay higher tiers to use different tools. But once you got Photoshop, you got Photoshop. There's no like, ooh, you only get the magic lasso tool if you pay more. It's like, no, you get it all.
Yeah. Yeah, you get it all. They don't gate that stuff. Okay. All right. So those are the reasons to change from the Adobe products to Affinity Designer. And some of those reasons will resonate with people. I think the subscription one-time fee versus subscription is probably a good sales point for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then I know that some people don't like the Adobe behemoth of Adobe taking over the world and the monopoly that Adobe has in the design industry, and they don't like that monopolistic behavior that, you know, I can't fault them. That's how they've become a multi-gajillion dollar business. So, but I understand why that is frustrating for people that I understand that point. Okay. Let's go. I'm going to go quickly through this, and then we're going to switch to website software conversation. Here are 5 reasons to switch from Affinity Designer to Adobe products if you are currently using Affinity Design. Number 1, industry standard with broad compatibility. So Adobe products like Illustrator and Photoshop are the industry standard tools. There's a little more to it, but we would all agree that those are the tools. Number 2, comprehensive ecosystem. Adobe's Creative Cloud Suite includes tools that are multidisciplinary. You pay for the Creative Cloud, you're getting your Premiere and your After Effects and your Illustrator and Photoshop and InDesign, and you have this copy paste from one thing to the next, drag from Photoshop a layer and drop it in Illustrator, things that this compatibility has. The vector smart objects or smart objects in layers in Photoshop that you can open into other documents, or an Illustrator thing that you paste as a smart object that you can edit. I use that stuff all the time. So I like that capability in there. Advanced features and plugins. Adobe tools often offer more advanced capabilities and customization options than Affinity Designer. This is true. I mean, it's from a feature set, everybody's going to be trying to catch up to an Adobe. Canva has done, I think, a great job of giving you the feature set that you need the most. Yeah, it's lacking a ton, but it gives you the stuff that you really need the most, and they've dialed that in so well. Other than kerning, Canva people, listen to me. Kerning, freaking, how do you not kern? How can you not kern a letter in Canva? It drives me crazy. Anyway, but they've done a good job of not caring that it doesn't have, 3D modeling built into it like you can do in Photoshop and stuff. Okay. Cloud storage and collaboration. Adobe Creative Cloud includes cloud-based storage. I think that's a good selling point. I know people that use their cloud storage in their Adobe plan. I do not. I use my Dropbox and stuff for my cloud storage, but I know people that do use that. Continuous innovation and updates, regular updates and new features. So like I said, that's kind of this back to this advanced features and plugins option. It is always getting updated. I mean, honestly, it's like freaking once a week, my Photoshop updates itself because the bug fix of something, add a new little feature of something. And then I think annually at Adobe Max, they're launching all their new features and launching the next version of their software. So I think that's great. Brad, what thoughts do you have on why to switch from one to the next?
I think that it's almost like everybody's got their own reasons, because it doesn't just come down to it's the one-time fee versus the subscription, or it's fast, or it's a easy to use interface versus a really difficult, almost old school looking, like Adobe user interfaces almost look a little old school in terms of its UI versus like some more modern, sleek product design. It really comes down to a lot of reasons. And say, for example, my reason, I can think of when I do one-time purchase software versus when I do subscription. And it almost, I don't even know if there's an exact through line, but I'll give you a couple reasons why. So here's one that I do pay for monthly. So that's Creative Cloud for Photoshop, and for what's the photo? My wife uses it.
Lightroom.
My wife uses that for editing, for her photos, for photo storage, for her photography. So to me, pay monthly because it's worth, the cost of it is less than the value we get from it, or even just the feeling of the value. So I know I can open Photoshop and I can use it, and I know it. I know the UI. I don't find it sluggish. I don't find it hard to navigate. Like I keyboard shortcut my way around Photoshop. Like I don't even know what the buttons do. I just know what I'm doing. And so for me to switch to like Affinity or another tool that's like, it's better than Photoshop, I'm like, even if I only paid $500 once, I don't know how to use this and I don't like it. And where's the magnetic lasso tool? And I don't get your design system.
Touch of the master's hand. Exactly. That's what it is. It's touch of the master's hand.
Yeah, exactly. So that to me, now on another example, for audio editing, like I do music production just as kind of more of a hobby. I've always done that. And I prefer the one-time license of Apple's Logic Pro versus Adobe Audition. And now I know Adobe Audition. I've used it a long time ago, but it's a subscription as a part of Creative Cloud. And we tried it. And I just was like, I don't know, like I prefer the other tool. And I was always like, man, we got charged again for Adobe Audition. Like, and I didn't even really use it. And it was kind of bugging me. Whereas like, I'll go months without opening Photoshop and I'm still paying for Creative Cloud.
Yeah.
It's fine. Whereas like, I'm like, nope, I want the one time, I want to own it. I want to feel like I own this software and I don't need to worry about the cloud and subscriptions. Like, so it really just depends. And I think for me, a big part of it comes down to, is it a business purchase or is it a personal purchase? If it's a business purchase, I don't really mind the subscription, because having Photoshop or the subscription to Canva or whatever other tools that I subscribe to, and there are many, it's because I feel as though I get more value out of the tool than the subscription costs. So if it costs me $2,000 total per month for subscriptions, I know that I've done the math and went, I get way more than $2,000 of value out of this, because it enables me to charge $10,000 for this project, 20 for this, 2,000 a month for this, 5,000. Like it just, it's part of the business. It's part of just the lease, of doing work. Whereas Logic, I'm not getting paid professionally as a music producer. It's more for a hobby. So I don't want to pay a $59 subscription for a tool I might use 2 to 3 times a year in like a weekend or two. I'll pay for just Logic one time and I get all the tools. And then maybe in 3 years, Logic comes out with a new version of it with like cool AI features, and I'll upgrade. Yeah. But it's like, I don't want to have to be thinking I'm renting this every month.
Yeah. 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 I think that's an interesting point. Is it a business purchase or a personal purchase? And I could see if it was a personal usage, you're going to streamline or you might be swayed toward a one-time purchase for one tool over the ongoing subscription for another tool if it's a personal usage thing. I think that's really good insight, Brad. Yeah. All right, let's transition to the next part of this, and we're going to look at 2 websites here. Now, we all know that WordPress is the most used platform on the internet. Something crazy like 80% of all websites on the internet use WordPress as the back-end system that it's built on. There was a time, Brad, and this is like 2007 or something, where we were having to freaking convince clients that WordPress was not a blog tool like blogger.com or blogspot.com. We were like, no, WordPress, it's a CMS now. It's a content management system. And so we were trying to convince clients to use it that way. And then we've seen what it's become in the last, let's say 16, 17 years since that thing happened, that change happened, and it started to be used as that. Okay. So we're going to compare right now. We have 2 websites, Brad, and you may have seen one of these. I don't know if you know the answer already. Maybe, I don't know, but one of these was built on WordPress, and the other one was built on Wix Studio. Wix Studio. So we're going to go, and I'm going to scroll through these, and Brad's going to tell us. So this first one is called Synergy, but it's spelled FYN 3RGY. So Synergy with numbers for the vowels other than the Y's, if you consider Y a vowel. All right. It always was like sometimes Y.
I know.
What's the freaking rule? I don't know. A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y. Well, tell me when is Y. Let's just call it a vowel.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So this one, I'm going to scroll down, Brad, and you're going to be thinking in your brain which one was on WordPress, which one was on Wix Studio. And by the way, I think this time it's real. If you get this wrong, you're done, man. I'm out. You're done. I'm so sick of you anyway. Like the comments, like I have to extract morsels of intelligence out of you based on, I give you easy questions like you're a political candidate and I'm wanting you to win. Not saying anything, but if I want you to win, I'm going to give you softballs, man. And that's what I do on this. I'm like, Brad, what color do you like? Red or blue? And then you're like, I like red. There's no wrong answer. That's the thing. I give you those kinds of questions. Okay, so here we go. You're going to go this one, Synergy website. I'm scrolling down. There's a big animated motion thing in the beginning. Now I'm scrolling down. I'm in a new module, and there's this building rotating right here as I scroll. And then as I keep scrolling, now we're in an about section that's orange, and now the site is side scrolling, but I'm scrolling down, and now we're getting to another orange section that's a lot of text, and then one's called stages, and I got some images that are opening, like animating in as they come in, and then I'm scrolling down. Oh, and now I just had a building like expand into multiple different floors. And then we're scrolling down. Now I'm in another side scrolling module, although I'm still just scrolling down. And now a little testimonial and then a nice footer on the bottom. So that's this site, Brad. Okay. Now I'm going to scroll, or I'm going to go to the next one, which is this right here. This is called the Boathouse.agency. Okay. The Boathouse.agency. So I open this, and we've got a little animated background of a bunch of thumbnails that look like they're probably related to projects that this agency did. The Boathouse, big moments for disruptive brands. That's their thing. As I'm scrolling down, I got a nice little logo lockup coming in with Marriott and Apple and Netflix and some other notable brands. I scroll past that, and I've got another section with a big animated background. Performance is running nice and fast, no glitching on these videos, and the videos are filling the whole screen. You got celebrities in this video and some music artists and stuff. Then you scroll down, you see our process, and as I'm scrolling down the process, it's fading in different sections like ideation and stuff. And we have talent acquisition as one of the process, so all in-house. They negotiate payroll and residuals for the talent. They have faces of our recent campaigns, and they have several celebrities on here that are recognizable. Charlie and Martin Sheen, and you got Dennis Rodman and Doogie Howser on here. Is this Brandy? Is that Brandy? And you got Shaun White and stuff. Anyway, so you got some very known people on here. And then you got award-winning execution, another big background video, and I'm scrolling down. And now I got a video that is side-scrolling all of a sudden. A commercial looks like for Lovesac and some social media stuff. So I'm in a gallery now as I'm scrolling, and the whole thing is side-scrolling. And now I'm scrolling down, and it's going down again. AI optimization. All right, I'm going to stop about here because we just keep scrolling, and it just keeps bringing in more stuff. Oh, now I got to the end, and it's a big footer that says, now it's your move, contact us. Really nice site. Shout out to the Boathouse agency for this site. Brad, I took you through these two sites. Which of these two do you think was built on WordPress, and which one was built on Wix Studio?
I like that. I got to see both because I hyper-analyzed the interactions and the tropes and choices that were made. And
just so you know, Brad knows both of those platforms very well.
Yep.
Both of those platforms. Master's hand on both of those platforms.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I've built countless WordPress sites. I've taught like 600,000 students how to do WordPress. And Wix Studio is my tool of choice these days. And I use it for lots of work, personally and professionally. So I'm aware, and I look at it and I'm like, ooh, how would I do this in Studio? How would I do this in Elementor? Right. What would I do here? You know? So I'm watching that. And I think I can tell you with 100% certainty, I think I know exactly which is which.
Oh, okay. Which one?
Okay.
Which one? Okay, so I have the Boathouse on right now. Which one do you think is the Boathouse? Let's do that one first.
The Boathouse, that's built with Wix Studio.
Okay. And
Synergy.
The Synergy then being built with
WordPress.
100%.
Okay.
100%. Now, you've seen both of these sites, Brad. Before I reveal whether you're right or wrong, which of these sites is better?
Yeah, objectively. And this is not to knock one but the Boathouse agency is the most impressive. If I took out the celebrity faces, because you might think, oh, it's just because there's like fancy celebrities with their like Hollywood backdrops and all these familiar faces. No, you could just put totally stock photo people and videos here. Objectively, the Boathouse agency site is better. It's got really tasteful interactions. I mean, it's got a lot of movement, but I've seen sites that have movement for movement's sake. This kind of tells a story. It is interesting. It is a little bit glamorous. The branding, the dark, the black and white. It's really luxurious. It's high end. It's very clear this agency is an agency and they do big work with big names, and their site and the attention to detail on the experience of the site is it's very clear. I'm looking at this and I go, yeah, they're a top agency. Without knowing who they are, they clearly do work with like Verizon, Netflix, Yelp. I mean, there's a ton of Betterment. There's a ton of names there. And there are a few interactions there that I knew exactly how I would do that in Wix Studio. And I thought, I'm thinking that's Wix Studio there. Plus agencies, like that's what Wix Studio is for. It's for the agency. It's not for the plumber who wants to build his own site. He can use whatever. It's for the agency who builds sites for hospitality, for restaurants, for film, for creators, for influencers, for brands, for businesses, for, agriculture, for movies. It's for agencies who do great work. And it's very clear that this agency is successful. I imagine their revenues are pretty substantial.
Yeah.
So that's what I think of this one.
You're 100%.
Yep.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Okay. Brad, you are right. This is a Wix Studio site. You are still on the podcast, man.
There you go,
You're still on. I got to tell you, I've scrolling around on this and talking you through it as I scrolled, or talking the users through it as I scrolled. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
This site is freaking awesome. Yeah. It's like, I would have loved my agency site to be this.
Look like
back
that.
in the day. And we had some cool sites over time, but this is really, really top flight stuff. The other one I found as an AWWW Awards winner. And this one was for one of the best WordPress websites. Also very great website. These buildings that extrapolate out and stuff and spin as I scroll and all the stuff that this one is doing. Really, really great work here too. Yeah. I totally agree. The point of showing you these two things is that there's this mindset out there attached to some products that in the mind of the consumer, there is legacy opinion or bias. Yeah. Yep. And Wix Studio, which is a product of Wix, has some of that bias in the minds of some of the older folk like me that were designing stuff back in the WordPress days when that was really the far and away best choice. In today's world, man, it's freaking killer. It is killer. Yep. So check out the boathouse.agency if you want to see the level of what you can do inside of Wix Studio. I think this is using the bulk of the aesthetic features that you can do in Wix Studio. This is using the bulk of those. There are a lot of back-end tools and things, e-commerce and email marketing and things, but from an aesthetic standpoint, there's no limitation to the slick factor that you can create in the platform, as evidenced by this. This one, by the way, is one of the case studies on the Wix Studio website. The Boathouse is a global creative agency that has worked with some of the world's biggest brands. Intriguing animations and interactions immediately capture attention and invite users on a scrolly telling journey of their process, projects, and client testimonials. I think you mentioned that. It is that storytelling thing. Yeah. So they just slayed it. I love this site. So good. So good. Beautiful. All right, Brad, we're going to go and shift now to the same thing we did with Affinity Designer and with Photoshop, but we're going to do it a little faster because we're coming up on time on our episode today.
Okay.
We're going to talk about 5 reasons you should switch from WordPress to Wix Studio. Why should you switch from WordPress to Wix Studio? Now that we've seen 2 awesome sites built on both of those platforms, what are the reasons that the user should switch? So I've got 5 on here. The first one, this is switching from WordPress to Wix Studio.
Okay.
Simplified all-in-one platform. Wix Studio eliminates the need for juggling multiple plugins, themes, and hosting providers. With WordPress, managing a site often requires external hosting and additional tools for SEO, backups, and security. Wix Studio provides an integrated solution where everything is built into one platform, reducing technical complexity. That's the topic. Brad, thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. That's a huge one for me. It's like the amount of sprawl that comes with having a website be online. It's like it's all over the place, and you just get used to it, and you take it for granted as like someone who's been doing this for a long time. You're like, well, your email's over here, and your hosting's over here, and which shared hosting platform, and there's like kind of the more dedicated ones, but we don't need a server. We could do the shared hosting over here. I got a deal on that one, and then they do the emails with the subdomains, and then there's also Cloudflare. We should probably make sure that we have some secure stuff, but then there's GoDaddy's secure sockets layers over here, and then you've got 8 different whatever they're called things that allow you, and then you're like, oh yeah, and then I got to use CyberDuck, which is the free donate only FTP client, but I can use that new code editor over here, which has a client built into it, the FTP. But do I want to FTP or do I want to go in through the terminal? And you're like, holy smokes, guys, what are we doing here? Like, so that to me, I know how to do that, but it's a pain in the butt. Whereas you could be like, new Wix Studio site. Boom, it's secure.
And then
boom, it's
you're
all
building.
hooked up. Yeah.
Exactly. You're building.
Done.
Yeah, it is.
And it's secure. I don't need to subscribe to a separate tool, which I had to do because I got hacked so many times with WordPress sites. I had to subscribe out of pocket to a separate tool.
Cloudflare.
Yeah. And then in addition to that, I used a different tool for like making sure that you weren't getting blacklisted. And then if there was anything, they would be, I'm like, oh, it's just built into Wix Studio. It's like trying to explain to the client, hey, there's these 8 different tools that you need to sign up for. And if they're a must, you have to. And I'll do it for, just like, just sign up for Wix Studio, put your credit card in. It can just give me the damn thing and I can get to work. Done.
I love that. Good. Okay, you touched on a second one that's on this same list, but built-in security and maintenance. Brad just mentioned it. It's built into the Wix Studio platform. So that is a reason to leave WordPress and go to Wix Studio. That's a big one. WordPress is notorious for hackability. Oh my gosh. And anybody who's had any WordPress site up for any amount of time has probably been hacked. I've had so many sites for clients hacked. I had my own personal site hacked when I've been doing my current business and coaching and stuff. My site was hacked. Anyway, so that's a big one. It's for me. User-friendly design interface. Wix Studio offers an intuitive drag-and-drop editor with powerful customization options, making it easier for non-developers to create stunning websites. I find this in WordPress, which I've built so many sites on, but I'm a developer in one of my lives of the past. I had to. In my era of the web design, you were like a web design guy. You were the web guy. And you had to design it and you had to be able to build it too. And so you built everything, you designed everything in a way that it could be built. And so I come to that with WordPress and I understand how to make it work because I've had to build the stuff in hand code world. If you didn't, there's so much to learn to go to a WordPress because you do have to think like a developer to build in a WordPress. With Wix Studio, it is drag and drop. Use pre-built modules, pre-built templates, pre-built wireframes and stuff to be able to craft your site. And the stuff is already built and responsive, and all you have to do is skin a lot of the things. Streamlined SEO and marketing tools. With built-in SEO tools, analytics, and marketing features, Wix Studio simplifies promoting your website. This is a good one, man. You go into WordPress and you got to sign up for freaking Yoast SEO.
Yeah.
And you gotta pay your subscription for that, and then go still fill out all your keywords and metadata and all your stuff. And it is another thing that you have to connect to the
SEO
site.
thing for me is what gets me. I think when people are trying to be like, WordPress is the only way because SEO, or like, you got to use WordPress because SEO is the best. You can't use Wix or Wix Studio because I heard that the SEO is not good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bring your receipts. Where'd you hear that crap? And you're like, I just know it. Everybody knows it. Like, no, I'm going to ask you, where did you hear that? And then it's like, we know that. I can Google it and it says SEO, some person wrote it. And I heard it from a trusted colleague one time. And you're like, look, first of all, you're wrong. Second of all, and I can prove that. And so third to that is, who do you think is better at SEO? You by yourself with a Yoast plugin that you pay whatever the subscription is, or a huge team of dedicated technical SEO professionals who are building a product that makes it basically dummy proof to do great SEO.
Yeah.
Now, one, you have basically nothing at your fingertips, and you're just hoping that installing WordPress and Yoast makes you the best at SEO. The other one, you have a huge team who are constantly developing tools and products and ways for you to improve your SEO. Now, one of those is very slim, and one of those I have everything at my fingertips. So I'm going to discard the one that's slim, and I'm going to say, well, this one's got the whole suite built in front of me, and there are people who are building this product with great SEO in mind. Now, are they doing my SEO for me? I'm building out a site for, like a dentist or a tour guide company in Hawaii, and I want that to show up on local SEO. Is Wix or WordPress just going to get me on the first page? Hell no. Come on, don't be dumb. Who's going to do the SEO? You. Now, one doesn't really tell you much other than, it's great for SEO and people say it's great. And then you have to go and learn a bunch of resources and subscribe to a tool. And one says it's all baked into the tool and it's all, you're guided through it. It's built into the tool in and out, and it's all SEO optimized, and you have to step up and do the SEO work. One gives you the tools and has an army of SEO technical experts behind it. One just claims it's the best at SEO, and you have to subscribe to a plugin. It's just like, come on. Your SEO sucks because you suck at SEO. So you can't say, oh, one's better than the other.
Touch of the master's hand, Brad. Touch of the master's hand. Yeah, it is. Because I agree. If somebody is super great at SEO, they can make the tool do the SEO effectively. The truth is, on SEO, it doesn't matter how the site gets published. It matters that the site gets published to the internet and has the correct metadata. And then the things like backlinks and all that stuff that trigger SEO to be effective, that doesn't matter if it's a Wix Studio site or a WordPress site. So I think both of them can do great. Both of them can do great. I do think there's a bias, though, in the SEO world that, WordPress is best for SEO because all the SEO people have been using Yoast SEO for the last 20 years. And so the bias is that that's the best place to do it because they know it the best. Like I said at the beginning, what tool is the best? The one you know the best. That's the tool that's the best.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go to the next one. Faster setup and development. Wix Studio allows users to get a website up and running quickly with pre-built templates and design elements. We already mentioned this. WordPress. In WordPress, selecting and customizing themes, configuring plugins, and managing integrations often takes more time and effort. That is 100% true. I can say because I've built websites in Wix Studio and I've built websites for years and years in WordPress. There is that connecting all the stuff together that has to happen that is oftentimes a clunky experience. All right, we're going to wrap this up by talking about 5 reasons to switch from Wix Studio to WordPress. And Brad, when I go down this list, so I pulled this data from the internet, these lists, using AI to go and crawl a bunch of websites and stuff to give us the reasons. So these are the 5 reasons that AI, ChatGPT, pulled. And I'm going to ask you, how often does this matter? Okay. So switch from, if you're using Wix Studio, you should switch because these 5 reasons you should switch to WordPress. The first one, greater flexibility and customization. WordPress is an open source platform giving users full control over every aspect of their website. Unlike Wix Studio, which is a closed system, WordPress allows you to customize code, install third-party plugins, and modify themes, making it ideal for complex or highly specific website needs. That last statement is the key. Complex and highly specific website needs. How many clients have you had in the past, Brad, that need something uber complex and highly specific that you couldn't do inside of Wix Studio that you would have to use WordPress to do?
It's so rare that comes up. And when it does come up, that client is the pain in the butt client. There's 20% of your clients, I found this to be true. Roughly 20% of your clients generate 80% of your revenue. Now, there's also 20% of your clients create 80% of your stress.
Yeah.
So, and don't contribute much to your bottom line. It's the client who has this weird, specific, and I remember this. I remember needing to, a client came to me and was like, I need to be able to drop a pin on a map based on coordinates, only using Google Maps and doing this. And then this needs to happen. And then it needs to trigger something on our back end that does this in our point of sale system. And I'm like, what in the frick is this? And I'm getting paid $3,000 for this job. This is crazy.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm not doing it. Like, it's like that sort of stuff. Like, it's not sure. Maybe there's some weird plugin that some dude created, I guess. But it's like, look, if you're just building websites because it's fun and you're having a great time and it's joyful to you and it's a hobby, kind of like creating music and doing music production is a hobby for me. Sure. I can noodle around and find the plugin and do this and do that, blah, 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 blah. But if I'm making money and I'm paying bills and I'm paying my taxes and I'm trying to like feed my family and like do my job and pay my contractors and grow a business and, you know, secure myself financially, I don't care about the edge case clients who are going to noodle about and stress me out for just like, I don't want that. I want the small amount of clients who are going to pay the bulk of it and who are going to be the least amount of stress. So that argument to say the highly complex, crazy, weird, specific stuff is only available in WordPress. And I go, thanks for telling me the red flag. I want nothing to do with it because I don't want those types of clients and I don't want to have to do the weird, highly specific stuff.
I will give you the flip side to that. The flip side is at my agency, we had multiple clients that were $300,000 websites. And we had a $500,000 website that we did. That was the biggest project we ever had. It was a $500,000 website. I could not have done those websites, or our team could not have done those websites in Wix Studio because the websites needed a complex and highly specific website need. And that need was robust gamification. That's what it was. It was like every interaction you had with the site triggered digital points to accrue into an e-commerce engine that then would allow them to purchase digital products and sign up for bonus tangible products, blah, blah, blah. It was this very complex site. And it was a lot of money, I agree. But I'm talking right there about probably $1 million worth of website projects against the $30 million of revenue that my agency did that could have been built in a Wix Studio. So there are those outlier cases where, yes, an open source environment like WordPress is the choice, but it is so rare to the common web designer out there that it doesn't make any sense to go down that route. And you talk about those kinds of clients. I mean, the clients were great, but the project was freaking stressful.
Crazy.
Stressful. You're on the hook for, it was like 540 grand, I think was our number. And it was so stressful, man. Anyway. Okay. The next thing, this is why you should switch from Wix Studio to WordPress. And let me ask again, Brad, and since we're way over time on today's episode, let's give fast answer.
Okay.
Massive plugin ecosystem. WordPress has 60,000 plus plugins. It offers unparalleled range of functionality. Okay, 60,000 plugins. Brad, how many plugins of those 60,000 have you used? What, like 59,000, maybe 59,500 of them that you've used over the years?
Holy smokes, man. I think there's like 8 plugins that I always use, and that's it.
Okay, 8 plugins. Yeah. And those plugins, I'm just gonna guess what they are. One is an SEO plugin. Another one is probably an e-commerce plugin. Another one is probably an email marketing lead gen kind of plugin. Those are 3 of the 8, I can almost guarantee. Another one's probably like a map display plugin, like a Google Map display plugin. Another one's probably like a header footer common code distributed over all the pages plugin. Another one is probably duplicate an existing page to clone the page. I'm at like 5 or 6 of the plugins right there.
And one is back.
I could probably figure out what the other 2 are.
Yeah.
Now, are any of those features not available inside of Wix Studio? Those ones that I just rattled off just now.
They're literally all just part of it. Google Maps is already built in. Yeah, they're all just part of it. Forms, submissions, email marketing, pop-up windows, backups, site history. I mean, it's all there. So it's like, no, I don't need 60,000 plugins or whatever it is. Like, it's not as good.
Cache, dump the cache plugin. That's what you probably have that one.
Speed up my WordPress site because it's sluggish.
Yeah, exactly.
Not sold. Not sold.
Yeah. So, okay. So point number 2 again is in 90% or 99% of use cases, the 60,000 plugin thing is not a realistic sales pitch to switch. The next one, scalability for larger websites. And we'll just gloss over this one because I agree. Scalability for larger websites. I gave the use case on that. Well, we had another one that we did for NBC, man. And we were migrating a blog for one of their shows that had like 10,000 blog entries. And we were migrating that from some antiquated platform they were using into a WordPress environment. We did it in WordPress. I would not have tried to migrate that inside of Wix Studio. That's a use case. So scalability for large scale, complex things like that. WordPress wins. But that again, my agency, man, we were doing millions in revenue for the top tier clients. That was the work we were doing. And in those outlier cases, you do want a WordPress, but that is not what normal people are doing. It's just the abnormal people like me that are saying yes to stuff because of fear of revenue. We'll figure it out, man. That was my, and then I'm like, Brent, shout out to Brent, my dev who was there. He was with my agency. He was there for 20 years, man, 20 years. He was like my 4th hire or something like that. And he just left the agency last year. Which was like 5 years after I left my agency after selling. He was still there. Anyway, so I would just go to Brent. I'd be like, Brent, can you figure this out? He's the master of figuring it out. Okay. Amazing. Ownership and portability. Now, this one I could agree with. With WordPress, you have complete ownership of your website and hosting. Agreed. You can move your site to any hosting provider, unlike Wix Studio, where your site is tied to their platform. This freedom ensures that you're not locked into one ecosystem and can adjust hosting plans as your needs grow. Brad, I'm going to ask you a question. How many times, you've done probably hundreds of websites over your career, how many times have you taken a WordPress website and moved it to some other hosting environment? How many times have you done that?
I've been on the same host since I was like 17 years old or something like that. Like I don't do that. I've never done that.
Nobody does this. Nobody does this. That's the point.
Yeah.
This ownership and portability that is highlighted as one of the reasons to choose WordPress over Wix Studio is a moot point, because if you look at the history, you typically do not move the website from one host to another unless there's some rare case where you chose a super cheap bad host and you have to move environments. But Wix Studio is not a bad host. This is a multi-billion-dollar company that has hundreds of thousands of websites, millions of websites, to be honest, built on their platforms. This is not a bad host that you're going to be like, I got to change because my host's going out of business. That's not the situation.
No,
so it's a moot point on that one.
It's an edge case. Yeah.
Yeah, edge case. Okay, and the fifth one, cost effective for advanced features. While Wix Studio includes hosting and features in its pricing, costs can add up quickly for advanced needs. WordPress often provides a more affordable solution for complex sites, as you can choose your own hosting provider, use free or low-cost plugins, and avoid ongoing platform fees. I tend to disagree with this. With Wix Studio, there's so many features that are already built into the one subscription fee that the likelihood of you paying extra for plugins is very low. Whereas WordPress, it does add up. You're paying, if you have like your own virtual server or something, you could be paying, we were for some of our clients $100 a month just for the hosting environment. Yeah. And then you've got a handful of plugins on top of it. Yeah. And then you have a theme that you built it on fee that you're paying on top of that. I don't think that when push comes to shove, there is really a monetary difference that's notable between one or the other.
Yeah. I tend to agree. It's business. Yeah. It costs look, I try to reframe when people make this argument of like, oh, it's expensive, like to upgrade to the premium this and do this and do this. Like, look, any decent plugin or app that you add to WordPress costs money. There's an independent developer company or software as a service company that charges $59, $99, $199 a month to access their premium quality secure tool that you plug into your WordPress site that then you pass off to your client to either pay for or reimburse you for with or without profit on top of it. So it's like, it's going to cost you money there, and it costs you money at Wix Studio. It's all unified under one thing. It's easy to see. And also, look, if you're billing $5,000, $10,000, $30,000, $50,000 for a website, who cares if it's $99 a month? Your client's paying for it anyway. It doesn't matter.
Just get the client's credit card and I put it on the client's credit card.
It's part of their business cost.
So it does not matter. Yeah. Okay. Well, this was the emphasis, I think, in showing this. Another thing that I want to shout out here on this, the learning environment for Wix Studio is so good. The company backs their products so well that if you want to learn Wix Studio, there are a gajillion ways that you can learn it. One of those ways is by joining Creative Crew Community, where there are all kinds of resources and tools and workshops. And Brad, who is a Wix Studio wizard and has office hours and coaching sessions that are available to help support the community, is in there, along with other Wix Studio experts that show up in the discussion board all the time for that platform. So I love that about Wix Studio. Instead of going to Reddit and finding any Joe Schmo somewhere in the world giving you some kind of tutorial trying to figure out the thing, and you don't know if that person has any reputation or not or whatever, and you're trying to figure out how to do something in a WordPress environment, you know where to go for the answers, and it's a robust knowledge base on the Wix Studio website and then some of the communities that they offer to their user base as well. Yeah. So in the end, as we wrap this episode, the bottom line is, it is about what platform do you know best? And the truth is that a WordPress genius can design an award-winning website. We saw it in the Synergy website. And the Wix Studio genius can build a gorgeous drop-dead website. It may have won awards. I didn't look deeper than that, but it's an award-winning website, that the Boathouse agency website. So great. The platform does not matter which you choose. Choose the one that's best for you. And the only reasons to choose WordPress over Wix Studio are the outlier reasons that we mentioned inside of this episode. If you need 60,000 plugins, agreed. Go to WordPress. You want to muddle through 60,000 plugins. That is the platform of choice. Yeah. If you want just the 8 plugins that you use every time, well, they're all built into Wix Studio. Yeah. Brad, do you have any final thoughts as we take this episode out?
I think to tie it all up, it really comes down to what the touch of the master's hand. You're right. It's it's what you know. And I want to encourage anyone who's rigid in their thinking of whatever tool it is. You're like, I don't like Canva. I'm a Photoshop guy. Or you're like, I do all my photo editing over here, or all my video editing over here, or all my graphic work, or document work, or design work, or writing work. It's like, look, there's multiple tools to do the job. And for somebody to completely ignore, in this case, Wix Studio, because of some antiquated idea that was installed in your brain from an old Reddit post 10 years ago, or your past experience from a decade ago, it's like you're missing the point, and I think you're sleeping on something really important. Nobody's asking you just to convert to one tool and only use that. Like, that's not the point. We can choose lots of different tools for different solutions. So my favorite thing to do, specifically with Wix Studio, and this goes for any tool, is try it. I had weird opinions or bad opinions about certain video editing software, and I was like, I'll try it. And then I was like, I actually like this. I think I'm going to do it. Try it. Just give it a go. Wix Studio, try it out. Fire up a site. Use the Figma to Wix Studio plugin. Heck, just join us in the creative crew. We do a monthly boot camp. We have training videos, tutorials, lessons. We have some Wix Studio staff that we have in the community to give you priority VIP support for product. We do training. We do all this stuff. And so it'll just try it out. We'll see what happens. And I bet you would realize you're missing out on some pretty cool tooling, professional tooling that you could use in your practice as well. That's what I got to say.
That was good thoughts, Brad. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to this episode. This was a bonus extra large episode on, the jumbo episode of 2 Pixels Off. We hope you got some little nuggets. Like I said, you want 1, 2, 3 nuggets that you walked away from here. Look for what those were, and then throw away the rest of it if it wasn't applicable to you. But there had to be some little juicy nugget. I know Brad didn't give any. I know that. And you don't have to send me all the DMs in the back end of like, Brad's not pulling his weight, all that kind of stuff. Mike. I know already, so don't send me that. I get like 100 a day, Brad. It's freaking ridiculous. I can't get through them all because they're all like, Mike, you got to find another pixel. And I'm like, geez, I don't want Brad to cry anymore. That's what I'm thinking. I don't want Brad to cry
trying to manage his mental state.
So his wife called me and she was like, please don't kick my husband off the show. It means so much to him. And I was like, okay, fine.
Fine.
So
one more episode.
Don't send me the messages. We already know what Brad contributes, but find those 1 to 3 little nuggets that I shared in this episode and bottle them up and put them into your business. And hopefully they will bring about great things for you. And thank you all for listening. And we will see you on the next episode of 2 Pixels Off.